Hi, so I'm going to make this Midori style binder. I've got, because I've already got it, sheets that are the right size. For me, this is A5. If you're in the US, you'll want half of A4 letter or slightly larger. And I go with A5 because A, that's what I've got, and B, I never print borderless. Even though I've got the function on my lovely printer, I never use it. And my reason for that is because the ink spits out over the edge of the paper, collects in a waste ink tank, and then I have to throw the whole ink tank away and buy another one. They're difficult for me to find, they're quite expensive, and they fill up remarkably quickly. So that's what's put me off printing borderless. So now I print with a border and I trim down, and so that when I come to put in my little Midori style binder, I know that I've got enough room. I'm slightly undersized, so my binder fits nicely over the top. So I've got my two sheets already cut here. You can cut yours down to size, like I say, slightly larger than you need if you print borderless, or make it easy for yourself. Don't print borderless, it's much cheaper and better for the environment, etc, etc. Right, this stuff that I'm using is called pulp board, and it's the same stuff used to make beer mats. And the reason I love this is because it gives you the bulk of chipboard, but without the horribleness of cutting it. I absolutely hate cutting chipboard. And I can show you how easy this is to cut through. I've already cut my spine here, but I'll do another one just to show you. If I line up I don't even have to measure anything. I can just line this up with my grid, get my ruler and my lovely sharp craft knife, and just cut. And you'll see, compared, if you're used to cutting chipboard, you'll see how easy this is to go through. There we are, 2 cuts and I'm through, and it's a really nice sturdy thing. Now the way I'm going to put this together is absolutely beautifully simple, and it uses this. Mine's got cat hair on it because I let the cats come in and sit on the sunny windowsill. This is sometimes called painter's tape. It's a black masking tape and it's crepe paper tape. I don't know if you can see in the video, but it's got that kind of crepe stretch to it, and it's got kind of a satiny kind of finish. It's the reason for the crepe is that you've got a little bit of flex in there, a little bit of stretchability, so you can get around corners and so on. So right, let's start putting this thing together. I'm going to, first of all, tear a piece of tape, and you can tear it by hand, which is also nice. Cut a piece of tape just longer than my spine and put it half on, half off, or thereabouts. And just rip that a little longer than I need it. And I will do the same on the other side in a moment, but let's get this one done. And then what I'm going to do is butt this piece up against the edge of the spine so it's resting on the masking tape. Make sure it's nicely in line, and then when I drop that down, I've automatically got the space I need to allow me to have a fold, and then I'm going to tuck down this piece of masking tape over the top. I'm going to do the same again on the other side. I love making these Midori style binders. Once I discovered this method of doing it, there was absolutely no going back for me. And I'll show you the benefit of it when we've got a little bit further down the line with it. So same on this side. Put your piece of card at 90 degrees. Of course you can use different cards to this. Use whatever you've got. If you use chipboard, go ahead, use chipboard. You'll just have to use more cuts than I do, so no. There we are. So that's our spine done, and we've actually nearly finished making this, which is really cool. And that's going to take a very long piece, longer than I need. Lay it down on the table, which is a little bit tricky because it wants to stick to my hands. And again, place it half on or half off. Your piece of tape, this tape is 1 inch wide, by the way. and I buy it from Amazon. You will see it all over the place. I think these are 50-meter rolls by 1 inch. It lasts a long time, and you buy a couple of rolls at once. And for me, I think it was, gosh, I can't quite remember, £6.99, something like that maybe. Right, there's several ways that you can deal with this edge. I'm going to take a pair of scissors. I'm going to cut off this edge, and on this one, for the sake of the video, I'm going to go over there at 90 degrees. This one I'll tuck around the back. This one I'll bring down over the front, and this one I'm just going to seal off as we go, so you'll see there's different ways to go about it. So this one is more a traditional sort of bookbinding kind of nice finish. This one doesn't really care about anything very much at all, and I'll just snip it off. There we go. Right, so now we're going to go down the edge. We don't need to go longer this time, not that we can, it doesn't matter. Half on, half off. And I do like this 90-degree tuck here, so I'm going to do mine like that. I'm going to tuck that piece around the back. Wherever you've got a piece of sticky left over, use that. And we've got the sticky here. And then just by kind of, you can force your fingers around that bend there, make sure it sticks to the edge of your piece of board. And then just bring it round. The odd little crease you can deal with a fingernail or a folding bone quite easily. And the same again up at this top edge, a piece a little longer than we need. We can actually go shorter than we need now because we don't need to cover up, oh actually, we need to cover up that long edge, but I'll show you on this short edge. Here, we don't need to cover up right to the very corners, so we can go a bit short on that edge. Just play it by ear and see how it's looking when you're making it, and you'll figure out what to do. So lay that piece down. I've got a bit wonky there. This piece I needed a bit more over the edge, so I'll do my 90-degree angle there. And bring this down so you can see that this edge doesn't need, I don't want to go and do another one of those folds over there because that will be getting quite bulky because I've already got one. Now you see on this side here I've already got these corner folds, so I'm going to cut or tear, really doesn't matter. This tape, you will absolutely not see that when you finish making your when you finish decorating this Midori journal cover. So pop this half on, half off, and just fold it over. And there you can see I've gone a little bit off there, but it doesn't matter at all. And we're going to do, just cover up these inside spines here with a little bit. We don't need it quite as long as that. I'll just cover that up to take away the white now. And there we are. So there's just one last thing we need to do to make this a usable Midori journal, other than decorate it with some matting and decoration, however you want to decorate the front of your journal, that's completely up to you, is take some elastic. I'm using black. You can, I've got some gold here, you could run with whatever you wanted to. And we are just going to tie some elastic quite tightly around this spine. So laid, I've got a knot in mine, but I won't need all of that, so we're all right. Put it quite tightly. You want some stretch left in there, but not an awful lot. That's a nuisance, I'll have to deal with that. And I don't want to waste any, so I'll make sure I don't have to cut too much of an end off. I'm going to stretch that quite tightly. A little bit of stretch left in it, but not too much. And tie a double knot in here. and just cut off those ends. And that's as simple as that is. You can see, I'll take it off the black so you can see a little clearly. I've still got some stretch in there. It's also quite nice and tight as well. And then I'm just going to feed my signature. This is my week ahead daily planner. This has got 4 pages folded to 8 pages in it, and I'm going to swap this every week for a new weekly planner. A lot of it will stay for the month, the year. You know, different sections will be have different uses. And there we are. That's how that Midori works, and you just hide the end there. You could take the knot up to the top, leave some on, make some dangles, etc., make an actual feature of that with some ribbons and so on. And you can see that especially when I've got extra signatures in there, let's pop one in. I've got another elastic here, pop that on. And this is my Mardi Gras journal, or the beginnings of my Mardi Gras journal. I've stitched in the middle of that one. So I just pop that in as well. You can see how this thing starts to take shape when it's got more in it. Beautiful way to keep your journals. And so here's my weekly planner. You know, this might be my monthly diary, it might be a thing for the year, that it might be a journal. I do have a kit, and I'm going to be having more kits coming out to match this fairy and other different bits and bobs. So there's lots and lots and lots that I can think about and go out there. And it's a really sturdy, really nice thing that I can just keep using and using and using. So there's the Midori journal finished, and I'll just quickly show you how I would cover this with matting and begin the decoration process. So because I hate working with numbers, and I like to work with them as infrequently as possible, I like to do everything by eye. If you want to use a ruler and measure this off, by all means go ahead. So I'm going to allow a little black border, and this is part of the reason I love this method of making these style of journals with the black tape, is because you always get this nice black border. So I'm just going to measure off how wide my journal needs to be there, and I'm going to run that through my large trimmer because it won't fit through my little one. And now I'll place this on the top, measure off the length. So I've got the same size border all the way around. Grab my little trimmer. And cut this piece down. I really do enjoy making these Midori style journals with this black tape. It brings me a lot of joy to see how beautiful and professional they look when you're finished. So that's it, and then I'm just going to glue that on. And now I like using this Kalal glue because it's alcohol based. Smells like Sharpies, which I really like. And also because it's alcohol based, you don't get any buckling in the paper. Very often I see a beautiful job that somebody's done, and I see it just let down a little bit with a bit of buckling paper, and this does away with all of that for you. So I'll get my glue on there, and you get a little bit of wiggle room before it grabs. It's a beautifully strong glue, and I'll just gently lay that down. There we go, and as you'll see, absolutely no wrinkling of the paper whatsoever, and that just isn't a thing for me anymore, which is wonderful. So that's it. Doesn't that look absolutely sensational? And obviously you would repeat that process for the spine on the inside and the outside. You need 2 pieces the same, and with this this sized piece here you need 4 pieces, 1 for the front, 1 for the back, and 1 each for the inside front and back pages. And there you are. What a beautiful, beautiful high-end thing. Make a wonderful gift, great for selling. These are really viable items because they're so sturdy, you know, they feel like the real deal. Wonderful. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon.